Ethan lived a quiet life in a small house at the edge of town. People said it was peaceful there, but for him, peace was only an empty word. His heart still carried a wound that never healed. Years ago, he had loved someone who was not from Earth. Her name was Lyra. She was beautiful, strange, and full of gentle fire. And then one day, without a goodbye, she disappeared. No message. No reason. Nothing. Every night Ethan wondered if she ever really loved him, or if everything had been a dream. But deep inside, he kept a small hope locked in his heart, the hope that she was still out there somewhere. On one cold evening, the sky was darker than usual. Thick clouds covered the moon, and the wind pushed against the old windows. Ethan made tea and sat near the window, watching the empty backyard. He did not know why, but he felt a strange pressure in the air, like something big was coming. The ground trembled lightly. Ethan stood up at once. Earthquakes were rare here. He stepped outside to check, and the moment he opened the door, a bright flash exploded in the sky. Not lightning. This light was blue, sharp, and humming like a machine. His heart started beating faster. A round object, glowing like a small star, was coming down from the sky. It slowed as it reached the ground, hovering above the grass. The wind pushed back. His hair, Ethan's hands shook. He had seen something like this before years ago on the night Lyra disappeared. The glowing object touched the ground with almost no sound. A mist of silver steam rolled across the grass. Ethan stepped back, unsure if he should run or stay. His mind screamed danger, but his heart whispered something else. A door opened on the side of the ship. Soft footsteps echoed from inside. A tall figure stepped into the light. Ethan felt his chest tighten. The figure moved like someone familiar. The shape of the face, the curve of the shoulders, the way she walked. It was Lyra. She looked older, stronger, but still the same woman he loved. Her silver hair glowed under the ship's light. Her eyes, bright and strange, searched for him. When their eyes met, Ethan felt the years melt away. Lyra, he whispered. But before he could move toward her, two smaller shapes appeared behind her. Two children, one boy, one girl. They were around 6 or 7 years old. Their skin had a soft shine, their eyes bright with color Ethan had never seen on any human. But their faces looked like his. The girl hid behind Lyra's leg, while the boy stared directly at Ethan, studying him with curiosity. Lyra took one step closer. Her voice shook. Ethan, we never left you. He felt the world collapse under the weight of her words. Never left him? She had been gone for years. And the children, his children? The truth hit him harder than any storm could. His breath caught in his throat. What happened to you? Ethan finally managed to ask. Why did you leave? Why didn't you tell me anything? And who are these children? Lyra looked at the kids with a sad smile. They are yours and mine. They are our children. Ethan felt his knees weaken. His children. He wanted to speak, but no words came. Before he could take another step, a sharp voice came from inside the ship. Lyra, hurry! They followed us. The boy grabbed Lyra's arm. The girl's eyes turned wide with fear. Lyra quickly moved forward and grabbed Ethan's hand. Her touch felt warm but desperate. Ethan, we don't have much time, she said. We brought danger with us. A deep rumble shook the ground behind the ship. Trees bent as something massive moved in the dark forest. Strange red lights blinked. Between the trees, getting closer and closer, Ethan's pulse raced. What is coming? Lyra squeezed his hand. Hunters. The boy whispered. They want us, Father. Father. The word hit Ethan harder than the fear. He looked at his children, his real children, and understood that everything in his life had just changed forever. Lyra pulled him toward the ship, and the red lights grew brighter behind them. Please, Ethan, Lyra said. If we stay here, They will take the children. And just like that, the quiet life Ethan knew ended forever. Ethan's mind spun as he followed Lyra into the ship. The children stayed close to her, holding her hands tightly. The door closed behind them with a soft hiss, shutting out the red lights moving through the forest. Ethan looked around the ship, small, dim, and full of strange symbols glowing like soft stars. It felt warm, almost alive. The girl climbed into a seat and curled up, trembling. The boy stood beside Ethan, watching him closely. Not with fear, but with curiosity, like he was trying to understand the man who was supposed to be their father. Lyra touched Ethan's arm gently. "You're safe in here, for now." "For now?" Ethan asked, his voice tight. "What are those things outside? Why are they following us?" Lyra looked down, as if searching for the right words. "They are hunters. Not animals, not machines, something in between. They were created to track hybrid children," Ethan frowned. "Hybrid, meaning humans. And aliens." "Yes," Lyra whispered. He looked at the children again. They had his eyes but her glow, her strange beauty. And now he understood why they were afraid. Ethan knelt beside the girl. "Hey, are you okay?" She looked up slowly. Her eyes shone like soft green fire. I'm sorry. I didn't want to come here, but Mama said this place was safe." Her voice was small but filled with honesty. Ethan gave her a gentle smile. "You don't have to say sorry. You're safe with Min." The boy stepped forward. "Safety is not true. They are coming again." His voice was calm but serious. Ethan blinked. "How do you know?" The boy placed a hand on Ethan's arm. A sudden feeling, like a cold wind, passed through Ethan's chest. Images flashed, dark shapes moving through the woods, glowing red eyes, claws scratching against trees. Ethan gasped and stepped back. What was that?" Lyra stepped closer. "They can sense danger. They were born with this ability. Your son can see threats before they arrive. Your daughter can feel emotions around her. She can sense fear, sadness, anger, everything." Ethan looked at the children again with new eyes. These were not normal kids. They were something rare, something powerful, and something hunted. "Why now?" Ethan asked. "Why did you come back after all these years?" Lyra's shoulders sank. "I wanted to come sooner. I tried to. But my people discovered our children. They wanted to take them away. They said hybrids were dangerous. They said the children did not belong anywhere." Ethan clenched his fists. "So they chased you?" "Yes. They chased us through systems, through planets, through dark corners of the galaxy. We stayed hidden for years, but the hunters always found us. I knew I had only one place left to run. Earth," Ethan murmured. Lyra nodded. "Your home, our home." Suddenly, the lights inside the ship flickered. The boy looked up quickly. "They are close," he whispered. A loud thud hit the outside of the ship. Then another. The walls vibrated like something was striking them. Ethan's heart hammered. "They found us already?" Lyra grabbed the controls of the ship. "They can track energy signatures. The moment we landed, they picked up our trail again." The girl stood up, shaking. "Mama, I can feel them. They're angry. They want us." Ethan moved between the kids and the door. It was an instinct he didn't know he had. "They'll have to get through me first." The boy looked at Ethan with something like admiration. "You are brave," he said quietly. "Mother said humans have strong hearts." Another thud shook the ship, harder this time. Lyra looked at Ethan, fear in her eyes. "We must leave the ship. They won't stop until they break in." Ethan stared at her in disbelief. "Leave? Into the forest? With those things out there?" Lyra nodded. "There is something in this area, something old. A place that blocks their senses. If we reach it, we can hide. Where is it?" Ethan asked. The boy pointed toward the far edge of the forest. "There, beyond the river, I can sense it. A quiet place. A safe place. Ethan took a deep breath. Then we go. Lyra opened a hidden compartment and pulled out a small round device. This will confuse their vision for a short time. Another crash. The ship shook violently. A crack appeared in the wall. They are breaking through, the girl cried. Ethan held out his hands. Kids, stay behind me. Lyra, let's run. Lyra. Hit the door control. Stay close, she whispered. The door opened, and cold night air rushed inside. Red lights glowed between the trees, moving quickly toward them. Lyra grabbed the children. Ethan stepped into the night, jaw tight. This time, he wasn't running alone. This time he was running with his family. Cold wind rushed past Ethan's ears as he ran through the dark forest with Lyra and the children behind him. The night felt alive, filled with strange whispers and the sound of heavy footsteps far in the distance. The red lights from the hunters flashed through the trees like evil eyes searching for prey. Ethan had never run like this in his life. Every sound made him turn. Every shadow felt dangerous. But he forced himself to stay focused. His children he had only known for minutes were depending on him now. Stay close. Lyra whispered urgently. The boy held Lyra's hand tightly while the girl clung to Ethan's coat. The children were fast, but their small legs struggled to keep up. Ethan bent slightly to pick up the girl, and she wrapped her arms around his neck without hesitation. Her touch was warm and trembling. Are you scared? Ethan whispered. She nodded. Yes, but you feel safe. That helps. Her words surprised him, but there was no time to think about it. A loud clicking noise echoed through the forest. Ethan froze. That sound. It was sharp, unnatural, like metal teeth scraping against stone. The boy looked over his shoulder. His eyes widened. They're here. Ethan turned around slowly. A tall, dark figure stepped out from the trees. Its body was thin and covered in metal plates that reflected the moonlight. Its arms were long, ending in 3 sharp claws. Instead of a face, it had a glowing red visor. Another hunter appeared. And another. 3 of them stood between Ethan and the ship. Their claws clicked as they scanned the air. Lyra grabbed Ethan's arm. Run, run now. They moved again, pushing deeper into the forest, away from the hunters. But the creatures were fast. They moved almost without sound, slipping between trees like shadows with claws. Without warning, the boy stopped running. He squeezed his eyes shut. What is it? Ethan whispered. They're splitting. They're moving around us, the boy said. They want to trap us. Ethan felt a chill down his spine. Then we need another path. He looked around, trying to find a direction the hunters weren't coming from. The forest was huge, but the darkness made everything look the same. The river, Lyra said suddenly. If we reach it, we can mask our scent. Ethan nodded. Lead the way. They ran again, following the soft sound of running water somewhere ahead. But the hunters were closing in. A red beam cut through the trees, landing inches from Ethan's foot. He jumped back, clutching the girl tighter. They're shooting at us, he shouted. Lyra pulled out a small metal device from her belt. Cover your ears. Ethan pressed his hands against the girl's ears and ducked. Lyra threw the device onto the ground. It exploded with a burst of white light and a screeching sound that echoed through the whole forest. The hunters staggered back, their visors flickering. That won't stop them for long, Lyra said, breathing hard. Move. They ran again, crossing over fallen logs and pushing through thick bushes. Ethan's legs burned, but he didn't dare slow down. His heart pounded louder than the sounds of the forest. Finally, they reached the river. The moonlight reflected off the rushing water. Ethan stepped into it without hesitation. The cold was painful, but they waded through quickly, the water rising up to their knees. Will this really help? Ethan asked. It will confuse their senses, Lyra said. but not forever. A loud roar echoed from behind them. The hunters had reached the riverbank. Ethan turned and saw one of the hunters standing tall and still. Its red visor scanned the water, sweeping side to side. The other two hunters moved along the bank in opposite directions, searching for a place to cross. "They're learning," Lyra whispered. "They're smarter than before." "Great," Ethan muttered. As if they weren't terrifying enough, the girl shivered in his arms. "Daddy, I can feel their anger." Ethan hugged her closer. "Don't be afraid, I'm here." The boy pointed to a hill on the other side of the river. "Up there, there's a quiet place, the safe place." They climbed the hill as fast as they could. The forest became thicker, the air calmer. The sound of hunters grew faint behind them. For the first time since the night began, Ethan felt a small moment of hope. But the boy suddenly grabbed Ethan's arm. He whispered, voice shaking, "Wait, something else is coming." Ethan froze. "Something else?" he repeated. The boy nodded. Slowly, "Not hunters, something bigger." The ground trembled again, stronger this time. Lyra stepped in front of her children. "Ethan, stay close." The forest around them grew silent. Too silent, whatever was coming. It was not just a hunter, and it was getting closer. The forest became still, so still that even the wind stopped moving the leaves. Ethan felt the hair on the back of his neck rise. The ground shook again, slow, heavy vibrations, like footsteps. From something much larger than the hunters. Lyra pulled the children close. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. "This is not their normal hunting pattern," she whispered. "Something else is in these woods." Ethan swallowed hard. "Something worse than the hunters?" The boy nodded. "Yes, much worse, I feel. Hunger, big hunger." Those words sent a cold shiver through Ethan's chest. Hunters were already enough of a nightmare. But something even bigger? Something hungry? He didn't want to imagine it. A distant roar cut through the night, deep and rumbling. Tree branches shook. Birds sleeping in the treetops flew away in panic. The roar echoed again, closer, louder. Lyra grabbed Ethan's hand. "We need shelter now." "There's a cabin ahead," the boy said quietly, pointing deeper into the forest. "I saw it, in my mind." "You're sure?" Ethan asked. He nodded. "Yes, it's empty, and it's old. But it will hide us." Old and empty didn't sound very safe, but it was better than standing here waiting for something monstrous to arrive. "Go," Ethan said. They ran again, pushing through thick bushes. The girl clung to Ethan's shirt, her small fingers trembling. The forest floor sloped upward, and soon they saw a shadowy shape between the trees, a small wooden cabin, half broken, half standing. Ethan pushed the door open with his shoulder. It creaked loudly, and part of it nearly fell off. Dust and old leaves covered the floor. But at least it had walls and a roof. "Inside," Lyra whispered. They entered the cabin. Ethan pushed the door shut as best as he could. It didn't fit properly anymore, but at least it wasn't wide open. The children huddled in the corner. Lyra checked the small windows, then turned off every glowing device she carried. "We can't use lights," she said. "They'll sense the energy." Ethan sat beside the children. The girl leaned into him, her small body trembling. The boy stared at the door, eyes glowing faintly as he tried to track the danger outside. Ethan whispered, "What do you sense?" "Now?" The boy shook his head slowly. "The hunters. They are still looking. But the big thing, it's moving toward them." Ethan blinked. "Toward them? Why?" The boy hesitated. "Because it eats anything alive." Ethan felt sick. "So, we're hiding while hunters get eaten." Lyra nodded. "Hunters do not fear much if they run. The thing out there is dangerous." From outside, the forest suddenly erupted with crashing sounds. Something enormous smashed through the trees. The ground shook as if a giant stomped. Across the earth, the girl covered her ears. It's too loud. Then a sharp metallic screech filled the night. Ethan recognized it, the sound hunters made when they were damaged. Then another screech. Then silence, something had attacked. Them. Ethan whispered, "Lyra, what is out there?" Lyra stared at the shaking window. "I don't know. But creatures that can kill hunters are usually not interested in small things, unless we make noise." Ethan nodded slowly. "Then we stay quiet." Minutes passed like hours. Every sound outside echoed through the cabin walls. Branches snapped. Something heavy dragged across the ground. But none of them dared to look. Finally, the forest went quiet again. The boy whispered, "It left." Ethan let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. "Thank God." But Lyra shook her head. "There's no God on this part of the forest tonight." Ethan frowned. "Then what now?" Lyra touched his arm. "There's an old storm shelter under this cabin. My people used this place a long time ago as a hidden rest point. We can stay underground until sunrise." "That's convenient," Ethan said. Lyra gave him a sad smile. "No, Ethan, it's fate. I knew we would return here one day." She moved a dusty carpet aside and pulled on a loose wooden plank. Underneath was a dark opening with an old ladder leading down. The children looked nervous. Ethan sighed. Better than staying up here with the monster. They climbed down into the shelter. It was small, cold, and smelled like old metal. But at least it was hidden. Ethan helped Lyra cover the opening again and place the carpet back. In the dark, the children leaned close to their parents. Lyra wrapped her arms around them. Ethan sat beside them, listening to the faint echoes above. The boy whispered, "It's not over. The hunters will return, and the big one too." Ethan tightened his grip on his daughter's hand. "Then, we'll be ready." Above them, the forest shook again, just once, like something enormous had put its weight on the cabin roof. Then silence. The night wasn't done with them. Not even close. The underground shelter was cold and silent. Dust floated in the air, catching tiny bits of light from the small glowing crystal Lyra held in her hand. The children sat close to her while Ethan leaned against the metal wall, breathing slowly, trying to calm his racing heart. Up above them, occasional thuds echoed, soft, distant, but real. Something was still walking around the cabin. Something heavy. Ethan whispered, "How long will that thing stay out there?" Lyra shook her head. "Creatures like that wander. They don't think, they just move. We need to stay quiet until it grows bored." Ethan rubbed his forehead. "I'm trying. But my whole life turned upside down in just one night, Lyra. I think I deserve to know everything now." Lyra looked down. Her face softened, mixed with shame and pain. "You do. You deserve more than I ever gave you." The children looked at her, sensing her sadness. The boy placed his small hand on her arm. "Mama, you don't have to be afraid anymore." Lyra forced a smile, then faced Ethan. "I left you because my world didn't allow me to love you." Ethan's breath caught. He had wondered this for years. Wondered why she vanished. Wondered if she chose to abandon him. Or if something forced her. "Explain," Ethan said quietly. Lyra took a deep breath. "On my planet, relationships with humans are forbidden. I come from a noble family. My people believe humans are too emotional, too unpredictable, too dangerous to mix with." Ethan frowned. "Dangerous humans?" "Yes," Lyra whispered, "because humans feel too much. And powerful emotions can change the universe. My people fear that. They fear what your kind might become." Ethan stared. "So, they punished you for loving me?" Lyra's eyes glistened. "Yes, when they found out I was carrying your child, they came for me. They wanted to take the baby away. They said hybrids were unstable. They said they were mistakes." The girl gasped softly and clung to Lyra. Lyra held her close. "You are not a mistake. You are the future. Ethan felt anger burning slowly in his chest. "So what did you do?" "I ran," Lyra said. "I left everything, my home, my rank, my future. I disappeared into the outer systems where their laws couldn't reach. But I wasn't alone. I carried our son, and later, our daughter." Ethan swallowed hard. "So the kids were born out there. In danger?" "Yes," she whispered. "And for years we kept moving. Every week, every month, always hiding. But the hunters, they never stopped searching. When they discovered I had 2 hybrids, not one, they grew desperate." "Why?" Ethan asked. The boy answered before Lyra could. "Because we're strong, father." Ethan looked at him. "Strong? How?" The boy placed a small hand on the ground. The dirt vibrated slightly. Ethan felt a soft pressure building in his chest, like the boy was touching something inside him. "I can sense danger," the boy whispered. "I can see movements before they happen. Mama says humans react fast, but I react faster." Ethan turned to the girl. "And you?" She spoke softly. "I feel feelings from everyone, from monsters, from hunters. Even from you. When you are scared, I feel it. When you want to protect us, I feel warm." Ethan's heart tightened. These were his children, and they carried powers beyond anything he understood. Lyra continued. "Hybrids like them could change everything. They could break the future my people tried to control. That's why the hunters will never stop." Ethan pressed his hands against his face. "So all this time, you were running because of me?" "No," Lyra said firmly. "I ran because I loved you, because I chose you, and because I chose our children." Ethan lifted his head slowly. The fear in his chest turned into something stronger, a quiet strength. "And now?" he asked. Lyra reached into her satchel and pulled out a broken communicator. Its screen flickered weakly. "I contacted someone tonight. Someone who can help us. An old friend, a rebel. But the signal was weak. I don't know if he heard me." The boy suddenly stiffened. His glowing eyes widened. "Someone answered," he whispered. Ethan leaned in. "What do you mean?" The communicator sparked to life on its own. A deep voice crackled through the static. "Lyra, I received your signal. Stay where you are. We are coming." Ethan exhaled in relief. But the relief lasted only seconds. The ground above them shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. "The girl cried out, clinging to Ethan. Lyra whispered, "The hunters found us again." The boy trembled. "No, not hunters. Something bigger, the thing from the forest. It followed our fear." The communicator crackled again. "Hold on. We will arrive soon. Stay alive." Ethan grabbed his daughter and stood up. His hands shook, but he stepped in front of his family. "Lyra," he said, voice steady. "Whatever comes through that door, we face it together." Lyra nodded, her eyes fierce. "Together." Above them, something massive roared, and the cabin began to break apart. The truth was out, but the night was far from over. The shelter shook again, strong enough to rattle the old metal walls. Ethan held his daughter tightly while Lyra pulled her son closer. Dust fell from the ceiling in soft streams. The roar that echoed above them was deeper than anything a hunter could make. It sounded ancient, hungry, and angry. Ethan whispered, "It found us." Lyra's face turned pale. "It tracked our fear. These creatures sense emotions. They hunt what feels alive." The girl trembled. "Mama, it's right above us." The boy closed his eyes. His voice was calm, but his body shook. "It is bigger than hunters. Many legs, many teeth, and no mind." Ethan felt his heart pound harder. "Then how do we stop it?" "We don't," Lyra whispered. "We only survive it until help arrives." Suddenly the floor above them broke with a sharp crack. A long, insect-like leg pushed through the wood, searching the space below. Ethan froze, afraid to even breathe. The creature sniffed the air with a deep, rumbling growl. "Stay quiet," Lyra mouthed, but the creature slammed another leg through the floor. The ground beneath them shook like thunder. The sound of splintering wood echoed through the shelter. The girl grabbed Ethan's shirt tightly. "Daddy, I'm scared." Ethan pulled her close. "I've got you. I won't let anything touch you," the creature growled again. It was seconds away from breaking in completely. Lyra stood and whispered to Ethan, "I have to distract it." Ethan grabbed her arm. "You can't. It will kill you. If I stay here, it kills us all," she said softly. "I will be fast." Before Ethan could stop her, Lyra touched a small button on her wrist. Her body flickered for a moment, glowing bright. She leaped up the ladder in complete silence, pushing the trapdoor open. Ethan whispered harshly, "Lyra." But she was already gone. Above them, the creature roared with surprise. Something heavy crashed. Lyra shouted, then the sound of an energy blast filled the air. Ethan's heart dropped. He couldn't sit here while she fought alone. "We can't stay here," he whispered to the children. "We move now." The boy nodded. "Mother needs us." Ethan helped the children up the ladder. Before he climbed out, he grabbed an old metal pipe from the corner of the shelter. It wasn't a weapon, but it was something. He pushed the trapdoor open. The cabin above was nearly destroyed. Walls had caved in, the roof torn open. Moonlight spilled through the gaping holes. In the center of the cabin stood the creature. It was huge, like a mix of a spider and a wolf, with long armored legs and a mouth full of glowing teeth. Its red eyes burned with a savage hunger. Lyra stood near the doorway, holding a small energy blade. Her arm bled, her breath sharp, but her stance strong. "Over here," Ethan shouted. The creature turned with a hiss. Its eyes locked onto Ethan and the children. A low growl vibrated through the room. "Daddy," the girl whispered, "don't move." But Ethan stepped forward anyway, lifting the metal pipe. "Come on. If you want my family, you go through me." The creature screeched and charged. The boy's hands glowed. "Father, duck!" Ethan dropped to the floor, a burst of bright energy shot from the boy's palms, hitting the creature in the side. It stumbled, crashing into the wall. Lyra took the opening, slashing across one of its legs. Black liquid spilled onto the floor. The creature roared and lunged at Lyra. Ethan ran forward, swinging the pipe with all his strength. It hit the creature's head, barely enough to hurt it, but enough to distract it. Lyra rolled away. The creature spun toward Ethan. Its claws rose. A sudden blast of light filled the cabin. A ship roared overhead, its engines bright blue. A powerful beam of energy shot down, hitting the creature directly. The monster shrieked in pain and collapsed. The roof above them opened wider as a small ship descended. A door slid open. A tall alien man stepped out, wearing dark armor, his eyes glowing silver. His voice boomed through the ruined cabin. "Lyra, get the children aboard. The hunters are closing in." Lyra rushed to the ship with the children. Ethan followed, still gripping the metal pipe with shaking hands. The alien man looked at Ethan with surprise. "So this is the human?" Ethan glared back. "And you're late." The man smirked. "Humans speak boldly. Good." Suddenly, the forest behind them lit up with red hunter lights. Dozens of them. Lyra grabbed Ethan's hand. "Into the ship, now." Ethan and the children climbed aboard as hunters burst into the clearing. The alien man pressed a button. The ship's shields activated just as the hunters reached them. "Hold tight," the alien said. "This fight is not over." The ship shot upward into the night sky, leaving behind fire, monsters, and a war that was only beginning. The ship climbed into the sky with a deep rumbling sound, leaving behind the burning cabin, the broken forest, and the creatures that hunted them through the night. Inside, Ethan held his children close while Lyra watched the dark trees shrink. Far below, her breathing was shaky. Her shoulders trembled with exhaustion. But her eyes stayed focused, always watching for danger. The alien man at the controls glanced back at them. "We have 10 minutes before the hunters regroup," he said. "We must reach orbit before they lock onto us." Ethan tightened his hold on his daughter. "They can follow us into space?" The alien nodded. "Hunters do not stop. They do not sleep. They do not feel fear." The girl whispered, "But we do." Ethan kissed her forehead. "And that's why we run smarter than they chase." Lyra turned toward Ethan. For the first time since she returned, she smiled softly, gratefully. "You protected them. You protected us all." Ethan looked at her, voice low. "I never got the chance before. I'm not losing that chance again." Before Lyra could speak, the ship jolted sharply. Sirens flashed red across the walls. The alien pilot frowned. "Incoming tracker signals. Hunters are rising from the forest." Ethan felt the children tighten their grip on him. The boy whispered, "They're angry, more than before." Lyra placed her hands on her children's shoulders. "Stay calm. Fear is what draws them." Another jolt shook the ship. Ethan grabbed the nearest rail. "What's happening?" he said. "Hunters fired a magnetic net," the alien answered. "They're trying to pull us back." Lyra stepped forward. "Give me the controls." The alien raised an eyebrow. "The ship is damaged. It isn't safe." "Nothing tonight is safe," Lyra said. She pushed him aside gently and placed her hands on the glowing panels. Strange symbols lit up under her fingers. The ship groaned, then surged forward with new strength. The alien blinked in surprise. "I forgot how strong your energy is." Ethan watched her with awe. She's always been strong. But the hunters were stronger than ever. Outside the window, red lights chased the ship like angry comets. Their claws tore through the clouds. Their metallic wings flashed with deadly speed. Lyra gritted her teeth. "Almost out of the atmosphere," the boy cried out suddenly. "Something big is behind them." Ethan looked out the window just in time to see a massive shadow rising from the forest. The creature from earlier, the giant monster, was leaping upward, higher than any normal creature should. Its legs extended, claws reaching, mouth open with glowing teeth. The girl screamed. "It's coming for us." The alien pilot slammed a button. "Hold on." The ship blasted upward. The monster's claws missed the bottom of the ship by inches. It fell back into the forest with a roar that shook the clouds. They broke into the upper atmosphere. Stars shone around them. The earth grew small below. Ethan let out a shaky breath. "We made it," but the alien pilot shook his head. "Not yet." 3 hunter ships shot out of the sky behind them. Lyra whispered, "They won't give up." Ethan stepped forward. "What do we do?" The alien pilot smirked. "We fight." Back, he pressed another switch. Panels opened on the ship's sides, revealing energy cannons. Blue beams fired, hitting 2 hunter ships and sending them spinning away. The boy closed his eyes. "The last hunter is powering a big weapon," Ethan shouted. "Move." Lyra rolled the ship sharply. A massive red beam flew past them, barely missing their hull. The alien pilot fired again, direct hit. The final hunter ship exploded into bright red dust. The silence that followed felt unreal. Ethan sank to the floor, holding his children close. For the first time, he felt like they were truly safe. The alien pilot sat back. "We're clear." "Number." "More hunters on our tail." Lyra turned toward Ethan. She knelt beside him, touching his hand. "We made it, together." Ethan looked at her with soft eyes. "I lost you once. I won't lose you again." She leaned her forehead against his. "You won't, not anymore." The girl smiled, wiping her tears. "We're a family now." The boy nodded, "and a strong one." The alien pilot cleared his throat. We must decide where to go. We can't return to Lyra's world. We can't go back to Earth. But there are free colonies. Safe places. Places where hybrids can live without fear. Ethan looked at his children, then at Lyra. Then that's where we go, together. Lyra squeezed his hand. A new beginning. The ship turned toward the stars. Engines glowed bright dot as they flew into the unknown. The boy whispered, "But the hunters will return. Maybe not now, but someday." Ethan smiled softly. "Then we'll be ready." The stars opened before them, a new home, a new future, and a new story waiting to begin.